Who am I? Who are we? The whole world should seek their supreme nature. Welcome back, everyone, to Mind Podcast. True spirituality helps us face daily life. Spirituality is not just practices like meditation, listening to high-frequency music, or hypnosis. Spirituality is simply the heart and soul. It's when you listen to your heart's guidance and immerse yourself in experiences that allow you to reflect on yourself in this diverse world. Awakening is not about opening chakras or achieving extraordinary spiritual powers. It's feeling a push for change and going with the flow of life. It's wanting to leave an unsatisfying job, end a hurtful relationship, pursue a dream many might call crazy, and having the courage to think and act on what feels right to you. That is spirituality. Awakening is the next natural phase of human development, an understanding of the essential nature of our being. This is not a mystical or religious experience limited to a few. It is available to everyone. What we truly are is already fully awakened, fully aware, and completely infinite. Your true essence is closer than you think. Whole, complete, peaceful. The next step in science, seeing consciousness as the foundation. Consciousness is the absolute reality of the universe. What is awakening? It is self-knowledge, self-awareness. Whatever term you use, true self, inherent self, Buddha nature, the way, or divine consciousness, it doesn't matter. In this video, we will call it mindfulness. Mindfulness is not a trait belonging to any religion. Awakening, or becoming aware, is like waking up from a dream. The dream of your character in the play of life. Through our heroes, we experience the world with all its beauty and ugliness, what we might call the duality of life and death. We obsess over the thoughts and emotions of characters, good and evil, war and peace, light and shadow, birth and death, until we awaken and realize we are not these characters in this movie. In this video, we invite you to experience your true essence directly, not through intellect. Who are you? We will repeat this invitation in various ways as you try to discover who you are. Let things be as they are. Do not use your mind to make something happen or search for an answer at the level of consciousness. Also, don't try to push the mind away. Simply experience who you are. Let the mind not know. Awakening as the answer to the world's problems. Awakening is the answer to all kinds of problems in the world. All these issues stem from an illusion, a fundamental illusion of the mind that believes, I am this limited character. When we live with a small, separate self, there is always a sense of dissatisfaction. This can be a profound dissatisfaction, like a psychological wound, or it might be just a vague feeling of discontent. In our lives, when we nurture the small, separate self, we experience ongoing frustration and dissatisfaction. But when we step into our true nature, we transcend these limitations and find peace. Embrace your true essence and allow the awakening to bring patience, hope, and a brighter, more harmonious future. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss upcoming videos. Wishing you peace and happiness. Is there something missing? Is something wrong? Am I missing something? Even when I feel some joy in achieving something in the world, even when I have a good relationship, if I pause for a moment, there is a lingering sense of dissatisfaction, as if I am isolated or cut off from something. This feeling, which almost everyone seems to experience, can lead us to awaken from this small, separate self. Its nature is a kind of anxiety about separation. This limited character tends to grasp at what it wants, a conditioned pattern of striving for what it desires or trying to push away what it doesn't want. One might say it's an endless process, a principle of pleasure, the pursuit of joy, and the avoidance of pain. If we believe that we are this conditioned personality, this pattern, then we suffer and create suffering in the world. The world becomes a reflection of this self-centered consciousness. The benefit of awakening is that you suffer less, and so do those around you. I have no doubt that my initial connection to understanding God was an awakening in my life, the greatest awakening I've ever experienced. I went about like a robot, doing things I was taught from a young age. I had a formula: get a car, get a job, buy a house, get married. To me, it seemed like this formula was what life was meant to be. Then, one day, I realized that although I had checked off many things on my list and achieved a measure of success in my career, those things didn't matter. I woke up and saw that all of it was meaningless, shocking me with its utter lack of significance. everything was empty. Who are you when you stop following the script? Who are you when you stop following the script built into your character, inherited from your parents, society, and biological conditions? New dimensions appear in this game. A path opens up, but it reaches no destination. This is the unexplored path, the removal of illusions to arrive precisely at your current position. Understand that the peace and happiness we desire above all else can never be found in objective reality. These cannot be provided by material objects, achievements, or relationships. I encourage you to understand this and not waste the rest of your life seeking satisfaction where it cannot be found. This is the most important research you can undertake, and your happiness depends on it. The greatest question in my life, which I believe most people encounter at some point, is simply, what is the purpose? What is the meaning of life? I was amazed to learn that the meaning of life had nothing to do with what I had done. It wasn't about my job or my career. It wasn't about most things in my physical life. I realized my life's purpose was to experience, express, and understand who I truly am. The biggest question most people face is one they rarely ask or answer. Am I merely a physical entity, like a bird in the sky or a fish in the sea, perhaps a bit more complex but still just a physical being? Am I born, do I live, and do I die with a beginning and an end? Or could I be something more? Perhaps I am a spiritual being having a physical experience. All the experiences in your life have led you to this universal question. Who are you? Don't seek answers at the level of the mind. Let everything unfold exactly as it is. Who is it that is aware of the mind? Who feels everything that arises? Who is conscious of these emotions and senses what has emerged within? Are we robots? From a physical perspective, we are simply machines. From a spiritual perspective, we are not. But that alone does not define who we are. So I decided to question it from a scientific perspective. Are we machines? I wanted to understand what machines can do and what makes humans and human neuroscience unique. If science were purely materialistic, then consciousness would be considered merely a product of brain activity. The materialistic model that dominated the last century dismissed anything beyond the physical, anything unverified by scientific methods. Science hit a dead end, unable to overcome the fundamental paradox of quantum physics, which faces the observer with consciousness itself. Similarly, religions mostly operate on a level of faith, having lost their original purpose of leading to a direct experience of who we are and what we are. This division between science and spirituality has impoverished both fields. Religious and spiritual systems need rigorous methods to facilitate awakening, and science needs openness to the possibility of something beyond matter. This isn't about abandoning religion or science, but about diving deeper and being willing to change ourselves to become better tools of discovery. Religion is the language and repository of spiritual meditative traditions, written and passed down from generation to generation. Of course, language in a literal sense divides both religion and culture. But if you grasp the spirit of religion, you can follow the path toward true awakening. Every person has the potential to awaken, whether they believe it or not, because awakening is inherent in human consciousness. Thus, whatever you call it, and in whatever language, there are certain principles that seem universal across all religions and spiritual and meditative traditions. This wisdom was present in Eastern spiritual traditions and also existed in Western traditions, although it was often disguised and obscured to the point that it was almost inaccessible. As a result, this wisdom appeared exotic to the cultures it reached. Many, including myself, initially thought it required an extraordinary lifestyle, abandoning family life, shaving one's head, taking on a special name, finding a teacher, following a tradition, or engaging in unusual practices. But none of these external things relate to understanding. They are merely cultural aspects through which understanding is expressed. Now, this understanding has been entirely separated from traditional culture and is available in a way that allows us to continue living our lives as they are, with family, work, and friends, without needing any external changes. The illusion of duality and the oneness of existence. The problem we face on this planet is the belief in multiple entities. We live in a world of duality, masculine and feminine, black and white, big and small, fast and slow, up and down, full and empty, before and after. But in reality, there is only one thing. All of these are parts of a single whole. When we look closely, we see that big and small, fast and slow, up and down, left and right, male and female are simply different reflections, not separate entities. I believe that we are all individual expressions of the divine, that God exists in everyone and manifests through everyone, through every being in the universe. I see my relationship with God as that of a wave to the ocean. A wave is nothing apart from the ocean. It is simply the ocean manifesting in an individual form. When this process of separation completes, the wave returns to the ocean from which it came and will reappear on another day. So, I believe we are all individual expressions of the divine. When we see everything as sacred, we recognize that all life is part of this oneness. This perspective transforms our understanding, showing that there is no true separation, only the diverse, beautiful forms of the same divine source. We will change our attitude and see everything differently. This is how the world changes. What is consciousness? Consciousness is the true essence of the universe. If consciousness is the true essence of the universe and everything and everyone, then why does the world appear to us as a vast diversity of independent beings, animals and objects made of a type of matter we call material? How can we reconcile the idea that consciousness is the true nature of the universe when it appears to us as a variety of material objects? The evidence I use to suggest that consciousness is fundamental has multiple aspects. One is that physics itself suggests that space-time is not a fundamental reality, and the theory of evolution also aligns, stating that space-time and material objects are not fundamental reality. Both theories simply state that space-time is not a foundational reality, but say nothing about what lies beyond it. My argument is that physicists are searching for mathematical structures that go beyond space-time, though what they truly are remains unclear. What exists beyond space-time? I believe that the realm beyond space-time is related to consciousness. Infinite consciousness has the capacity to localize itself in various individual experiences, that is, all beings, humans, and animals alike. Each of us is a localization of infinite consciousness within a boundless consciousness that comprises only infinite awareness. From a personal perspective, consciousness sees its own activity as the external world. Therefore, what appears to us as a world filled with material objects is, from a true perspective, the activity of a single infinite consciousness. In other words, ultimately, there are no separate or independent beings or objects. There is an indivisible infinite entity. The total unity of existence is reflected in the apparent diversity of objects and beings. If we awaken, we realize that there is a singular consciousness masquerading as all the different beings on this planet. A single consciousness shines in everyone's eyes. When we see ourselves in others, the desire to act out of selfish motives disappears, because we directly perceive the truth. We are all one consciousness. Experiencing our spiritual essence through materiality. Our spiritual nature can only be fully experienced in the physical world for a very important reason. The opposite is available to us. For instance, if I want to experience myself as light, I cannot do so if I am surrounded solely by light. Nothing but light would exist around me, making it impossible to experience myself as such. This is a beautiful metaphor for the spiritual realm. Thus, I must come into the material realm, where there is something different, something that is not light. If I wish to experience myself as light, not just to know myself as light, but to truly experience it, I can only do so where there is a contrast, in this case, darkness. So I bring myself into the physical world, where light and darkness coexist. Then, in my external manifestation as light, I can truly be myself, and understand that beyond our differences, we are all the same. This sameness doesn't mean we are the exact same being. Rather, it is the experience of unity, of togetherness. Love is the experience of this unity. A principle in this theory states that ultimately, there is only one consciousness. While we seem to be countless conscious agents, this theory tells us that all these conscious agents are merely projections of a single consciousness. For centuries, modern science has suggested that space and time are fundamental to reality, irreducible and foundational to everything. But if we look deeper, we see that this foundation might lie within consciousness itself, connecting us all as one boundless, infinite being, manifesting as many. Even before Einstein, space and time were viewed separately. Now, space and time have been combined into space-time, considered the fundamental essence of reality. Science has suggested that space-time and the objects within it are the foundation of reality. Therefore, when we speak about consciousness, consciousness itself must somehow be a product of objects in space and time within this physical system. Space-time and material objects lacking any consciousness are the basis of reality, and consciousness appeared much later in the evolution of the universe. According to this view, at the moment of the Big Bang, there was no consciousness, only space-time and energy. Energy condensed into particles, and life eventually emerged after millions or billions of years. Consciousness appeared even later. From this perspective, when you die, the physical entity that gives rise to consciousness disintegrates, and thus your consciousness also fades away. This approach essentially dismisses consciousness as a fundamental aspect, suggesting that consciousness disappears when the body dies. However, my colleagues and I have used evolutionary theory to argue that space and time are not fundamental. Therefore, the traditional evolutionary explanation that space, time, and particles somehow evolved through the human body is inaccurate. We argue that something exists beyond space-time, the activity of consciousness. We do not abandon older theories. When physicists suggest that space-time will cease to be the fundamental framework, it does not mean we disregard Einstein. Far from it. Any new theory that goes beyond space-time must improve upon it and reintroduce Einstein's ideas in a way that integrates better with quantum theory. All old theories are valuable friends, seen as special cases within a deeper theory. Similarly, in theories of consciousness, we proceed the same way. We need a theory of consciousness that includes and encapsulates space-time, quantum theory, general and special relativity, and evolution through natural selection. If we cannot express this with mathematical precision, there is no reason for scientists to take consciousness theories seriously. Consciousness and the illusion of reality. Think of infinite consciousness as wearing a virtual reality headset. This headset consists of thoughts and perceptions, and through wearing it, consciousness self-modulates its activity. Through this headset, it views the world externally through the senses of the limited mind, seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. This process disrupts its inherent unity and makes it appear as if there are thousands of different things. In my view, the universe is far more than our limited intelligence perceives. I am not suggesting that the universe only exists in our minds. The universe exists outside our finite minds, but within consciousness. It is the limitations of our finite minds that give the universe its tangible expression. When we observe the universe, we encounter a reality that existed before we perceived it. We see it through the lens of our perception capabilities, giving it this appearance. Many spiritual traditions propose that what we perceive, the objects in space-time, our physical bodies and so on, is not the ultimate reality. There is a deeper reality, a reality of consciousness that transcends space, time, and material objects. Awakening, realizing our true nature. We are not separate from this deeper reality. In a sense, this reality is our essence. Awakening means dispelling the illusion that we are merely small bodies in space and time. It is a realization that, in truth, we are the source of everything we see in space and time. We create it instantly as we perceive and interact with it. This shift in perception reveals the profound connection between ourselves and the universe, awakening us to our role as active participants in reality, rather than as mere observers.